Imagine a poor boy in a small village working in the fields for 17 hours every day just to have one square meal. Now, picture that same boy becoming the owner of a car company worth trillions in the future. This is the story of the founder of Hyundai, Chang Ju-Yung. Chang Ju-Yung was born in 1915 in a humble village in Korea. He dreamed of becoming a school teacher, but his family's poverty meant he couldn't afford much education. As a child, he worked in the fields alongside his family. Despite working tirelessly, they often went without food, let alone proper clothing or healthcare. To help his family, Chang went to a nearby city to sell wood. There, he saw people with enough food and clothes, living without having to toil in the fields all day. This sight made him feel frustrated and sad. He longed for a better life. One day, Chang read in the newspaper about a big construction site in a city nearby, looking for laborers. This news sparked something in him. In 1932, at the age of 16, he made an unexpected decision. He was going to run away to the city. That very night, Chang quietly left for the city with his friend. After walking 160 kilometers, they reached Kowon City, where Chang began working as a construction laborer. The work was hard and the pay was small, but he was happy because it was the first time he was earning money independently. For 2 months, his life continued like this until he was caught. Chang's father found him, and he was forced to return to farming. While his family was glad to have him back, Chang was not. Those 2 months had ignited a passion for construction and civil engineering in him. He realized that he would never escape poverty working in the fields, so he tried to run away again, twice. But each time, his father found him. Finally, in 1934, at 18 years old, Chang made his fourth attempt to escape, and this time, no one stopped him. He made his way to Seoul, where he worked any job he could find. First, he was a construction laborer, then a factory worker, and finally, he became a delivery boy at Bokyang rice store. The customers and the shop owner were so impressed with his work that within 6 months, he was promoted to manager. Afterward, Chang worked tirelessly to grow the shop. In 1937, the store owner fell seriously ill and made a surprising decision. He handed over the store to Chang thanks to his dedication. At just 22 years old, Chang became the owner of a business. Over the next 2 years, Chang worked even harder to build trust and a reputation in the market, helping his business grow. But just as things were going well, disaster struck. During World War II, Japan, which ruled Korea at the time, needed a steady supply of rice for its army and took control of all the rice shops in Korea, including Chang's. His hard work was destroyed in an instant. "If I put my heart and soul into whatever work I do, I will surely succeed," Chang thought to himself. With this mindset, he began searching for a business that the Japanese government couldn't control. Soon, he focused on the car repair business. In 1940, he borrowed 3,000 won and opened an auto service garage. Unfortunately, just a month later, the garage burned down, destroying everything. In a tough situation, Chang still had to repay his loan and compensate customers for the loss. Many people would have given up, but Chang faced the problem head-on. He borrowed 3,500 won and built an even better garage. Chang realized that one of the biggest issues for customers was the long time it took to repair their cars. So he made speed his focus. While his competitors took 20 days to complete repairs, Chang's garage finished them in just 5 days. His garage was so successful that within 3 years, by 1943, his workforce grew to 80 employees. By this time, Chang had repaid his loan and settled his family in Seoul. But then, another setback came. Japan, needing resources for the war, took control of his garage and merged it with a local steel plant, taking his business once again. Having lost everything, Chang was forced to return to his village with his family. However, this time, he had saved 50,000 won and was confident he could start another business. With the end of World War II came the end of Japan's rule in Korea. Korea was divided into North and South, with the Soviet Union influencing the North and America influencing the South. Chang returned to Seoul in 1946 and restarted his car repair business under a new name, Hyundai Auto Service. The business was doing well, but Chang saw another opportunity. He noticed that America was constructing buildings for its military forces and recognized a major opportunity in the construction business. Although he didn't have much experience in construction, he still had the passion for it that he had developed as a laborer. So, at 31 years old, in 1947, Chang founded the Hyundai Civil Works Company and entered the construction industry. Initially, he received small projects, but by the 1950s, his company was taking on large-scale construction projects, becoming his major business. But then, another twist came. In June 1950, North Korea attacked South Korea, and the North Korean army was nearing Seoul. Chang had to flee to Busan with all his savings. Even in this crisis, he didn't give up. The U.S. Army, fighting alongside South Korea, needed tents, warehouses, and headquarters. And Chang saw that the Americans had plenty of money, but they needed reliable, timely service. Chang delivered just that. He started with a small team and adopted the can-do motto. If the price was right, he would take on any construction project. Even in the midst of war, he never abandoned a project once he committed. His reliability helped him build strong relationships with the Americans. The war ended in 1952, but Chang continued receiving contracts from America. When South Korea began rebuilding with the government constructing bridges, dams, and roads, Hyundai played a significant role and saw exponential growth. Hyundai built South Korea's largest dam, the Soyung Dam, and the most important expressway, the Gyeongbu Expressway. By the 1960s, Chang was in his early 50s and had a successful construction company, but he wasn't satisfied. After building thousands of kilometers of roads, he felt it was time to build the cars that would travel on them. In 1967, Chang founded Hyundai Motor Company. In 1968, he struck a deal with Ford to assemble the Cortina cars. The joint venture ran successfully for 2 years, but eventually conflicts arose. Ford didn't want Hyundai to build its own cars. So in 1973, Chang ended the partnership and began looking for new partners. He sought partnerships with General Motors and Volkswagen, but they both refused. Finally, in the same year, Hyundai partnered with Mitsubishi Motors of Japan. Mitsubishi provided the car-making technology, and in return, Hyundai could sell its own cars. At the same time, the South Korean government issued an order for automobile companies to create a citizen's car, an affordable, reliable car made entirely with South Korean parts. In 1976, Hyundai produced the first-ever mass-produced car in South Korea, the Hyundai Pony. Due to its affordability, the Pony was a huge success, and Hyundai captured 60% of the domestic market. However, there was a problem. The South Korean car market was only 30,000 cars strong, which wasn't enough for profitability. The Hyundai Pony, though successful domestically, was a failure in international markets due to poor quality. Its paint would fade, and it had mechanical issues. Hyundai Motor Company had been losing money for the last 7 years. Some suggested Chang close the company, but his decision shocked everyone. Instead of closing, he decided to build a new factory capable of producing 300,000 cars annually. The company management didn't understand his decision. Who would buy 300,000 cars in a market of only 30,000? But Chang saw the bigger picture. South Korea's economy was growing rapidly, and more people were becoming economically empowered every year, which meant demand for cars would soon soar. Additionally, Hyundai's new cars were designed to be exported. In 1980, the new factory was completed, and in 1982, Hyundai launched the improved Pony 2, which became a huge hit in South Korea and was successfully exported to Africa, Latin America, and Canada. By the mid-1980s, Hyundai was turning a profit and establishing itself as a serious car company on the global stage. However, the most challenging market still lay ahead: the United States. Hyundai targeted the subcompact car market in the US, where competition was minimal. They offered the Hyundai Excel at the price of a second-hand car, along with a 5-year warranty. This strategy revolutionized the American car market, as second-hand car buyers flocked to Hyundai. In 1986, Hyundai sold 170,000 Excels in the US, and by 1987, that number grew to 260,000. The Hyundai Excel became the top-selling imported car in the US, and Hyundai was solidified as a major global car company. At 72, Chang retired from Hyundai in 1987 and became the honorary chairman. His sons and brothers took over the company, continuing the vision and determination that had driven him. Today, Hyundai is the world's third-largest car company. In 2022 alone, they sold 40 million cars. Although globally recognized for its automotive business, few know that Hyundai Group owns 42 companies, including Hyundai Elevator, Hyundai Information Technology, and Hyundai Heavy Industries, the largest shipbuilding company in the world. Hyundai helped propel South Korea ahead of Japan to become the world's largest shipbuilding nation. For South Korea, Hyundai is more than just a company. It's an institution that rebuilt the country, created thousands of jobs, and earned global recognition for South Korea. And it all started with a village boy who lacked even basic necessities like food, education, and healthcare, but possessed an unyielding passion, vision, and a desire for a better future.